Alright, dude, so we're already kind of midway through this dungeon now. This is Halls of Atonement. It's actually a really, really cool dungeon. It's kind of like a... I'd say it's halfway between, like, maybe a Court of Stars type thing and, like, I don't know, and a Tal Dazar, maybe, where it's just, like, it's very, very quick. You have to go back on yourself in the dungeon a couple times, but then you just have a situation where you clear all the trash, and then you go boss, boss, boss. And it's kind of cool in that style, and I'm actually really enjoying this dungeon so far. We've only been able to test like 4 dungeons, and obviously this is one of them. And this had a Mythic plus level. So right now we've got Fortified and Volcanic on, so kind of keep that in mind with everything that's going on with us here. But what I'm wanting to do in this video is showcase the Venthyr ability and areas that I think that it might synchronize well or sync up well, you know, with legendaries and with Feral Druid and with dungeons and whatnot, and where I think it might be pretty good. So, having done a lot of testing, so this is our ability here, Ravenous Frenzy. So basically, whenever we press an ability, I'll use it now, whenever we press an ability, we gain these damage, haste, and healing stack increase by 2% per stack, which is super, super cool. It's really nice with, say, Incarn, which is what I'm currently using, and you can actually check out what I'm using here on my talents. And yeah, it's actually really, really cool how this is going to end up working. Nicely aligned with Incarn. Now, you don't have to use Incarn with this. There's arguably benefit to not be going Incarn, but so far I've been enjoying seeing Incarn in this situation, and I think it lines up nicely. The cool thing that I found with this ability so far, and same with the Night Fae actually, is that both of those aspects, or both of those covenants, I think are going to be very good all-rounders. I think if you're somebody who wants to raid, wants to Mythic Plus, and wants to PvP, then I think you're going to be able to pick Venthyr or Night Fae and very, very comfortably be able to kind of do all those pieces of combat. Let's say you want to heal one day, you want to DPS another day, and you want to tank another day, right? Well, you can do that with these covenants. And yes, okay, you might not be the strongest, you might not always have the strongest covenant and whatnot, but you'll always have the ability to be flexible. And sometimes being flexible might make you stronger overall because you're able to just be so versatile, which will be really nice, especially at the beginning of the expansion where, you know, you've got some friends that go, oh, anybody want to run some dungeons? We need a 5th. Oh, can you heal? Yeah, I can heal. My covenant allows me to do it. That's fine. Let's go, you know, and that'll kind of end up being pretty cool, right? Spell that warlock there. Cool. This is a really cool boss, by the way. This is going to be the pug killer. So basically what he does is he randomly will put these, like, massive sanguine pools on the ground, which, like, target specific players, whatever, so you want to kind of be aware when you're moving around with that. Then he summons a bunch of ads that cast randomly at players. So you have to watch out for those ads, you have to kill those ads, and then they go into kind of like a hibernated form. So think of like Waycrest Manor last boss, where you then have to like burn the ads. You have to do that with those ads, but instead of burning them, he puts a curse on everybody in the group. And one person gets a big circle around them. And that person, if they position that circle on those little ads, then it kills them for good, right? But the curse slows your movement speed over time, and eventually you get frozen in place for like 2 seconds, right? So you need a curse dispel to dispel that player from the curse effect, so that then they can go position correctly. But anyone else in that circle will then get hit for damage. You see? See how this is going to be the pug killer? Actually, such a cool boss, though. Really, really excited for that. But yeah, so Venthyr right now seems really cool with this. Basically, the way the stacks work is you just, as long as you're using an ability, you gain a stack of 2% every single time. And if you stand still or you don't use an ability for 1.5 seconds, then you get frozen, or you actually like get a stun for 1.5 seconds or whatever. But that's like a minimal punishment. You should, as long as you plan ahead, like, and you've got Incarn and stuff, you've got infinite energy. You shouldn't have any energy issues. You should be fine. Like Incarn or Berserk, either one. But I can see this ability being pretty cool. Like I say, it's just a nice all-rounder. It's not super massively strong, though the nice thing is that as this expansion goes on, it's going to get stronger and stronger, because obviously increase your damage by 2%. Right now we don't hit a whole lot, so like 2% of 0 is 0, you know, but as things kind of go on, we should kind of scale better with that. Also a cool thing is I'm using this legendary, so rip damage has a 4% chance to make your next ferocious bite free and deal the maximum damage. That's actually really cool, because, and this is where I think it syncs nicely, is that legendary, so that legendary works with Primal Wrath. So if you Primal Wrath, every single mob that has Rip on, it now has a 4% chance per Rip tick to trigger that free ferocious bite at the maximum strength and whatnot. So that's super, super strong on AoE, right? Because you're getting this massive AoE capability with uncapped Primal Wrath and uncapped Thrash. And then you go and add on the addition of, well, the more rips that you have on targets, the more damage you're going to be doing, because you're going to get more ferocious bites to then put into a primary target. So, say, you know, you're in a Mythic Plus scenario, say you're on, like, you know, you've got Peacekeepers in Motherlode, where there's this target that you want it to die, but you also want to keep AoEing. Well, now you're going to be able to do that, and you're going to be able to still be bringing really good priority damage and that mass AoE. So that's actually really, really, really beneficial and really strong. The downfall of this build, right? The downfall of the way you can look at it in two ways. The downfall of the legendary is that it's not very good on single target, and the downfall of this build with Incarn and Ravenous Frenzy is that it's not very good in AoE. Well, huh. Looking at that then, Incarn and Ravenous Frenzy do all of your single target and allow you to have, like, you know, decent single target damage. And then, you know, 1 to 3 mob pack damage and whatnot, where, like, Shred and Rake and stuff is so strong. And then, on AoE, where you just Primal Wrath and you're chilling. Right, this boss room is... Oh, it's not even a boss room, it's just... Wait, why can I not use my abilities? I'm out of range. What's going on? Look at this Boomy here, just absolutely pummeling with Starfall. So, yeah, so this build is pretty awesome. It seems pretty comfortable. It's super easy to use. Like... That's the thing about this build. It's not the highest DPS, but it's super easy to use. Like, there's zero misplay, or, you know, misplay potential. It does what it says on the tin. You know, simple as that, right? So this build could actually be really, you know, really nice for people that aren't super well versed with Feral. They don't want something super complex. They want to focus up more on mechanics and whatnot. Great. That's what this build is for. I would kind of finish this conversation off with just saying what other legendaries I think might do well with this combination. I'm thinking... At first I thought, hey, this clear casting one seems really, really cool, because now you're going to get way more... You know, you use it with Omen of Clarity, which is really good with Incarn, and then you get way more energy gain, and you have way more maximum energy, and just all in all, with the energy, you're looking really strong, which means that you can spam more, which means that you can just... get more abilities into your rotation, which is what MOC and Incarn are all about, right? The problem for me is that if you have Incarn, you actually end up having 190 energy just by running Incarn. Even if you don't run Incarn, you're at 130 energy. Moment of Clarity already procs pretty decently anyway. In AoE, you don't really suffer from energy loss, or, you know, lack of energy. And in single target, you have Berserk. So, kind of, what's the big, you know, what's the big deal? So I'm actually thinking that that legendary is going to synchronize way more effectively with Blood Talons. Because Blood Talons, you don't get a whole lot of Omen of Clarity procs, you do suffer from energy, and yeah, that could be just really, really nice to round off that playstyle. See, look, see this single target here, where I'm pulling this 5k single target, like, burst DPS situation, which feels very strong. Oh, just clipped me. Yeah, so that feels very, very strong, which I like. Oh, we got one there. Perfect. Okay, cool. This boss is also really cool. So these statues end up like... This is kind of like a TOS third boss, where the statues align, and then you gotta block the beam from the boss. Otherwise, it does a massive amount of damage, and then you kind of hope that your healer can heal through it. But yeah, I was thinking of some other legendaries that might be cool. So far, you know, I haven't had a whole lot of luck. I think so far, I think this legendary we currently have is potentially one of the best. I'm gonna get hit. I've got to get hit. Yeah, they go into 4 different corners there. So I'll go here. Big survival instincts. Oh, there's some dodge in that. So yeah, I think probably one of these two legendaries, probably what I've currently got equipped with the rip damage, or this here with the clear casting could probably be our two best potential setups with this build. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments if you like this build, if you have any kind of cool, crazy, kooky play styles that you think this might be very, very effective with the Venthyr. Obviously, we still don't have the conduits, we still don't have the soulbinds, so we are still missing a bit of a few things. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that little extract. See you in the next one.